Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Jerry Tope. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
Here at the News at Noon show, we assemble the best and most interesting news we can find from the area, and Jerry Tope brings you the local weather and related news. Give us a call with news tips or topics you'd like to see covered. The number is 677-4119. We appreciate that you are watching DCTV. Today's show is live on Monday at noon and rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m. and again re-aired on Thursday at noon, 2:30 and 8. It's October 17th, 2016. Here's the news.
According to the Durango Herald, a man who was set free after being tried in Mexico in a 1989 killing in western Colorado is facing prosecution for the crime again after returning to the United States. Rafael Garcia, accused of killing a man who was involved with his ex-wife in Palisade, was arrested in Denver on Monday after police found that there was a warrant for his arrest for first-degree murder. Authorities have released the details of how police encountered the 67-year-old, have not released those details. Garcia was first arrested for the killing in 2009 in Mexico when he was 59. Because of Mexico's hesitancy to extradite people to governments with the death penalty, Mesa County prosecutors agreed to have Mexican authorities prosecute him, but he wasn't convicted. Pete Hotzinger, the district attorney at the time, and the Mesa County sheriff at the time, Stan Hilke, said the proceedings took some time and they didn't learn the results until much later. Both Hotzinger and the current district attorney, Dan Rubenstein, said double jeopardy does not apply because Garcia's original case was heard in another sovereign country with a completely separate jurisdiction. Garcia, who was transferred to Mesa County after his arrest, appeared before a judge in Grand Junction on Thursday with a public defender to be advised of the possible charges that could be filed against him. The director of the county's public defender's office, Steve Colvin, declined to comment on the allegation against Garcia in the death of Charles Porter and the legality of a second trial.
According to the Cortez Journal, a man was arrested on October 2nd after leading an officer on a high-speed chase in a van that flashed red and blue emergency lights. Cortez police officer Angelo Martinez reported that he noticed a white minivan with flashing red and blue lights behind him as he patrolled East Main Street near Colorado Highway 145 about 10:40 a.m. The van did not show government markings and it had a Colorado license plate, according to Martinez's report. The van passed Martinez and continued east on U.S. Highway 160 at 70 miles per hour, the report states. Martinez began to pursue the vehicle, which passed County Road 29, traveling east at 100 miles per hour. The van passed several cars on both the left and right before suddenly pulling onto the shoulder near the McElmo Flume scenic pullout and coming to a stop. Martinez drew his weapon and ordered the man to get out of the vehicle with his hands showing, according to the report. A very tall man wearing a leather vest and blue jeans stepped out of the van and began walking back toward Martinez. The officer ordered the man to get away from the van and onto his knees, and he complied after a few minutes. Martinez handcuffed the man, who identified himself as Cleveland Ricks, according to the report. Ricks said there were people after him who had killed his sister-in-law and he had some covert things going on, Martinez wrote in the report. Ricks was rambling, changing subjects, and not making sense. Another officer responded to the scene and found no contraband in the vehicle, according to Martinez's report. Ricks told Martinez he got the red and blue LED lights from Walmart about 7 months ago. Ricks was arrested and transported to the Montezuma County Detention Center, where he was detained on suspicion of vehicular eluding, reckless driving, reckless endangerment, knowingly possessing a vehicle with red and blue lights, and passing a vehicle on the shoulder. Ricks was still in jail as of October 11th, according to the sheriff's jail report.
According to the Cortez Journal, Montezuma County Sheriff Steve Nolan is seeking a 2017 budget increase from county commissioners to hire 4 new deputies and 6 new jailers. The sheriff cites an increase in crime and service calls as the reason for the request. In 2015, the jail averaged about 70 inmates per month, Nolan said, and 600 to 700 service calls per month. An increase in drug-related crimes, domestic violence, DUIs, theft, burglary, and property crimes has deputies struggling to keep up, Nolan said. He said there are only 2 or 3 deputies on shift at any time to cover 2,000 square miles. To handle calls and situations safely, he said he needs 4 to 6 deputies per shift. The sheriff is asking for $177,000 to pay for 4 patrol deputies and a little over $298,000 for 6 jail deputies. He has also cut the budget in some areas, including for transport about $10,000, fuel $4,000, janitorial $10,000, dispatch fees $15,000, and administration $5,000. The sheriff is budgeting $8,000 per year for the new mounted patrol program, part of a community policing strategy. Stables to house 2 trained horses will be added on the west side of the sheriff's office. To reduce recidivism, the sheriff budgeted $30,000 for instructor pay as part of an education program so inmates can earn their GED and take life skills classes. The request comes at a time when the county is looking to cut 2017 budgets for each department by 10% because of a drop in tax revenues from Kinder Morgan CO2 production, which contributed 60% of the county budget in 2016.
2 Durango men who entered a home pretending to be drug enforcement agency agents as part of a ruse to steal a large stash of medical marijuana pleaded guilty Friday to robbery. Lauren Heinz, 27, and Leonard Michael Powell, 49, face probation or up to 2 years in community corrections after signing a plea agreement with the 6th Judicial District Attorney's Office. District Judge William Herringer must decide whether to accept the plea agreements, and if so, what sentence to impose November 18th for Heinz and December 2nd for Powell. Heinz and Powell powered their way into a home about 3 a.m. May 17th south of Durango to steal medical marijuana. Once inside, they yelled, "DEA, get on the ground," and placed 2 occupants in handcuffs and covered their heads with pillowcases, according to an arrest affidavit filed in 6th Judicial District Court. The intruders left with a large Rubbermaid tub full of marijuana. Before leaving, Heinz accidentally sprayed himself in the face with pepper spray, according to an affidavit. Charges against a 3rd suspect, Melissa Renee Garipo, 27, were dropped. She is dealing with unrelated charges in another state.
According to the Cortez Journal, a Dolores-based archaeology organization is hosting a 3-day conference at Crow Canyon Archaeological Center from October the 25th to the 29th in Cortez. Before Borders, Revealing the Greater Southwest's Ancestral Cultural Landscape features presentations by Native American speakers, research papers, discussion forums, interactive sessions, and field trips. The 4th annual event is organized by the Society for Cultural Astronomy in the American Southwest, SCAS, a national organization based in Dolores. The goal of the conference is really to deepen our understanding of the Native American perspective on research, cultural anthropology, and astronomy, said Greg Munson, a SCAS founder. We will be exploring the transport of ideas and culture into and out of the area from Mesoamerica before modern borders. Conference participants will learn about astronomy, ritual, and ceremony in the lives of Native peoples and the regional exchange of ideas and cultural practices throughout the greater Southwest, which includes northern Mexico. The issue of energy development around archaeological sites will also be discussed. Participants will explore the influence of public architecture and landscape archaeology, and the socio-political development of ancestral people prior to borders in the greater Southwest. Featured presentations will include those by astronomers Ray Williamson and Vondell Chamberlain, and archaeologists Scott Ortman, Jonathan Till, and Grant Coffey. The conference will feature several evening programs for registered participants and the public. For more information about the conference and to register, visit the website at www.scas.org.
According to the Cortez Journal, the lengthy Amendment 69 constitutional question reads in part, "Shall state taxes be increased $25 billion annually in the first fiscal year, and by such amounts that are raised thereafter, establishing a healthcare payment system to fund healthcare for all individuals whose primary residence is in Colorado?" The proposal, which national proponents view as a test case, would create a Colorado Care Board to administer the system. The ambitious project would assess a 10% payroll tax in which 3.33% would come out of an employee's paycheck, and the remaining 6.66% would be paid by employers based on the employer's total payroll. As an example, if a person makes $100,000 per year, the employee would have $3,330 taken in a payroll deduction, and the employer would add its share of $6,670 for that specific employee. Employers would pay that percentage on each of its employees' salaries. Self-employed individuals would pay the full 10% and would no longer have to shop for insurance through the individual marketplace. Other income that is subject to federal tax also would be taxed at 10%. The employed would be fully covered both in terms of care and costs. For a period of time, taxpayers would pay a smaller $4 billion tax for Colorado Care's implementation, while also paying for their private insurance. The interim tax is 1% of payroll instead of 10%. Employees would pay 0.3% and employers would pay 0.7%. The 21-member board would be allowed to seek tax increases if necessary. Voters would elect the board through special elections in 7 healthcare districts. An interim 15-member board would be appointed to make initial staff hires. The program would operate as a zero-deductible plan. Co-pays would be assessed to supplement the system, though it's unclear how much those co-pays would cost. A yes vote for the measure would enact the $25 billion experiment. A no vote would kill the proposal, leaving Coloradans with the current healthcare system, which is largely accessed through employers or the insurance marketplace. And now let's take a look at the weather.
Today through Wednesday will be cooling a bit each day, and Thursday and Friday will be as warm as today. Winds today and tonight will still be annoying in the 20 to 25 mile an hour range, with gusts as high as 40. Tomorrow and Wednesday, winds will drop to the 5 to 10 mile per hour range, and Wednesday night is to be the coldest. Mostly clear days and nights throughout the week sums it up for the Dove Creek area. The northern part of the state along the border will see stronger winds than ours today, and a little snowfall down to about 8,500 feet, but above that it's expected only to accumulate above timberline. Tuesday will again see some light snow amounts for the north, but late Wednesday or Thursday should clear up in the north and warm up as we will here. The upper Midwest and the Great Lakes area will see showers and thunderstorms today and tonight. Some of these may produce severe weather and heavy rain. As this moves eastward by Thursday, the northeastern states will get their chance at those showers and thunderstorms. The Northwest, as you see here, is active with showers and thunderstorms moving through that will reach the Great Lakes with its leading edge by tonight. The slimmer clouds in those inbound flows still over the Pacific are not as heavy and by tomorrow the northwest will begin to dry out. Warm temperatures will expand through the next couple of days across the central and eastern U.S. Afternoon high temperatures today will be 10 to 20 degrees above average from the southern and central plains to the Ohio Valley and parts of the mid-Atlantic. Temperatures across the mid-Atlantic and the northeast will continue to increase into Tuesday, some areas seeing 20 degrees above average. Temperatures will rise into the 80s on Tuesday as far north as the Ohio Valley and mid-Atlantic. These daytime highs don't look at all that bad, mostly all over the 60s, and Saturday has a chance of busting 70. The lows, though, will not be as much fun, though the estimates in this image are the lowest ones I've seen so far, all over the 20s and just hurtling over the 30 mark Saturday. Even if these numbers are lower, the expected chill factors through Wednesday night will make things cold enough to burn a solid number of BTUs for the night. Now back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, the Montezuma-Cortez RE1 school district will ask voters for permission to spend up to $1.8 million toward demolition of the old high school on West 7th Street. The money has been held in reserve to build a new sports stadium, but the school board agreed that the funds are needed more to tear down the old high school, which contains friable asbestos that must be mitigated. Mayor Karen Sheik, who has been active on the task force that determined the future of the building earlier this year, said passing the measure will allow the school district to fulfill the promise they made to tear down the old school. Sheik said RE1 school board members have done their due diligence and their hands are now tied as they wait on the outcome of next month's vote. Councilors voted unanimously to approve the resolution, which encourages citizens to vote yes on ballot question 3A, allowing the school district to use the money. Also Tuesday, Boutique Air Marketing representative Michelle McNulty visited the council. The company took over for Great Lakes Airlines on October 1st. Boutique now is offering direct flights from the Cortez Municipal Airport to Denver and Phoenix. The company held a grand opening ceremony at the airport on Wednesday. McNulty said the company is committed to being a part of the community in Cortez.
Last week's CO2 average stands at 401.57, week before last 400.91, 1 year ago at 398.03, and in 2006 the week was 378.99. A natural ally against global warming may provide far less aid than previously hoped. Researchers estimate that the planet's soils will soak up about 40% less carbon by the end of the century than environmental simulations have previously predicted. That means the atmosphere in 2100 would hold an extra 4.5 years worth of carbon dioxide emissions from fossil fuel burning at current rates. The researchers report in September 23 Science, future climate change may be underestimated. This is from co-author Yuji, a carbon cycle researcher at the University of California, Irvine. Whatever mitigation we should do it faster. Soils are the largest land-based reservoir of organic carbon on the planet, storing around 1,500 billion metric tons of organic carbon, about twice the amount of carbon as is in the atmosphere. When a plant dies and decomposes, some of its carbon stays locked up in the soil. But microbes munch on some of it and release it back into the atmosphere, typically as CO2. The question for scientists is how much carbon is released and how much stays locked up for the long term. Some of the leading climate simulations by scientists and policymakers expect that rising atmospheric CO2 concentrations will fertilize plants and boost photosynthesis, increasing plant growth and ultimately pumping more organic carbon into soils and slowing global warming. How much warming will slow down depends on how long the carbon remains underground. He and colleagues worked out that if the simulations had been accurate, today's soil carbon should have been on average about 430 years old. Scientists can determine the actual age of carbon in the soil, how long it was a part of a living plant, thanks to atmospheric nuclear tests that blasted radioactive carbon around the world during the mid-20th century. The fraction of radiocarbon inside a sample of dirt indicates the average age of the soil's carbon. Assembling the radiocarbon ages of the soil down to a meter deep from 157 locations around the world, the team found that the simulations are off base. The average age of soil carbon is around 3,100 years old, more than 7 times the age predicted by the simulations. That means that the rate of new carbon entering long-term storage in soils must be much slower than previously thought. He says, though a lot of uncertainty remains, the remainder of the carbon probably stays in the soil for a short time, potentially only a few months or years before re-entering the atmosphere. Predictions of future warming need to be more carefully account for the variety of soils around the world, says Joanna Clark, a biochemist at the University of Reading in England. Complex interactions with minerals and earthworms can affect how long carbon remains underground. She says unusual soils, such as peatlands, need to be more accurately represented in simulations.
According to the Cortez Journal, though 2 potential low-income housing development projects in Cortez were not awarded state tax credits earlier this fall, developers for both projects say they're still invested in the properties. Developers from Calkins Redevelopment LLC has pursued tax credits to rehabilitate and convert the Calkins building at 121 East 1st Street into a multifamily development. At Valley Sun Village, developers planned a $3.3 million upgrade to the senior apartment complex at 700 East 2nd Street. The Colorado Housing and Finance Authority awarded $13 million in tax credits to 13 housing projects across the state, according to a September 13th report from the agency. Awards range from $553,000 to $1.2 million per project, according to the report. The agency awarded tax credits to just 13 of the 43 applicants, CHFA communications specialist Megan Herrera said in an email. Most projects that were awarded tax credits are in Front Range communities, including 3 in Denver, 2 in Colorado Springs, and 1 each in Boulder, Littleton, Aurora, and Pueblo. Other projects awarded tax credits are in Buena Vista, Basalt, Canyon City, and Newcastle. Herrera said applicants can apply more than once for tax credits. There are lots of quality applicants in 2016, she said.
According to the Durango Herald, Osprey Packs CEO Tom Barney has retired after 15 years in charge of the Cortez-based company. Barney worked to grow the company from a small pack manufacturer to a large brand, expanding to 65 countries around the world, he said. He helped to bring Osprey Packs to big-name retailers such as REI and Amazon, and brought lots of great people on board. This was said Wednesday at a retirement party at Stonefish Sushi restaurant in Cortez. In early days of Osprey, Barney and his business partner, Osprey founder Mike Fottenhauer, didn't expect the company to become what it is today. Barney said, "We didn't really know where the business could grow," he said. A running joke among colleagues was that Barney could always sell packs faster than Fottenhauer could design them, Barney said. Barney also is proud of keeping the company's headquarters in Cortez. Osprey has a development facility in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. Although Barney will leave Osprey, he won't be fully retired, he said. In the next few months, he will be traveling to Israel with his mother. After taking some time off, Barney will start an unconventional project working the sales floor at the Backcountry Experience in Durango. Outdoor industry news website Snooze will track his experience, and he will be writing about the project for the website, Barney said.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of October 10th through the 16th. Received a report of gunshots being fired in Cajon. A county resident requested an officer to assist in recovering personal property. A suspicious vehicle was reported around a local school appearing to be taking photographs. Deputies were notified. A deputy took an in-person civil complaint. That's it for today's Roundup. Stay tuned next time for more updates.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, Colorado students have until November 30th to put their creativity to work, promoting awareness of indoor radon risks by participating in a national radon poster contest. The contest, designed to raise awareness for radon testing and inform people of the danger of radon in their homes, is coordinated by the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment's Radon program in partnership with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. Children ages 9 through 14 enrolled in a public, private, territorial, tribal, Department of Defense, or homeschool are eligible to submit entries. Members of a sponsoring club, such as a scouting organization or an art, computer, science, or 4-H club, are also eligible. There is no entry fee. Only one entry per student is allowed. The entry deadline is November 30th. Poster contest submission forms, topics, rules, and prizes are at coloradoradon.info. The department's Hazardous Materials and Waste Management Division will judge entries from Colorado students on content, accuracy, visual communication of the topic, reproducibility, and originality. Winners will be awarded $300 for first place, $200 for second, and $100 for third. Teachers of those students each will receive $100. The top poster will be entered into a national contest with the Conference of Radiation Control Program Directors. The winning poster will be reproduced and distributed nationally to promote radon awareness. More information about radon, discount test kits, and radon contractors is available at www.coloradoradon.info.
Thanks for tuning in. A reminder that this program is aired live at noon Monday through Wednesday, then rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m., and again aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon to 2:30 and 8 p.m. each day, respectively.
And again, check us out on Facebook. We'd love for you to like us there and spread the word.
For Jerry Tope and everyone at DCTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.